Let's get.
Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of Sketch Biz. My name is Lauren. I am joined by a fellow Perth friend, which is really nice to be recording at the same time zone. Trying to tee up that time with everybody else, but I would like to wholeheartedly welcome Levi Cleeman to the show. G'day, mate. How are you?
G'day. Excellent. Thanks for having me.
Good. No, oh my God. I think we've been trying to tee up this time for a while. You've been so busy with doing your new project that you're working on, which we'll touch on later. It's incredible, by the way. You guys will be so pumped to see this. Look, given a lot of people don't realize that Perth is actually full of a lot of talent. I saw recently on the Comic Art Awards of Australia that most of the people that are joining in on the shortlist, a lot of the contributors are from Perth, which is sick.
That is cool.
And you know, you're one of the talents that we see. So please give us a little bit of a rundown about yourself, your work, inspirations, whatever you feel. But first off, like, where did you start and why did you choose this path? Because I think a lot of people do appreciate that. And then once we do that, we'll get into drawing because we're going to be drawing something of yours. Anyway, take it away. Tell us about yourself.
All right. No, look, I did want to say, just get it off the bat. Thank you for having me. It has to be said, welcome. I know I've mentioned it to you privately, but I was very intimidated coming on here because I have seen the guys. I've been watching every episode. I love it because, like, I am an introvert, you know, but I like to see people every now and then. But having, like, drawing thing is a very, very isolated. Like, I don't speak to anyone when I go to work. I don't speak to, like, I spend 50% of my time alone. But having a podcast, listening to people talking about exactly what I'm doing and going through and hearing you guys talk shop and everything, like it is a really wonderful thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's just us, you know, like, so I'm enjoying what you're doing. You know what I mean? So thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. And that's exactly why, you know, we're doing this. Well, I say we, but it is we because people are coming on. I'm not paying them or anything like that, but it's really good to hear that people are getting stuff out of it. So thank you.
No, it's really fun, you know, like this, and there's another podcast I listen to, Making Comics, and they always, like, every week kind of touch base about what they've been working on. And, like, again, that I almost find that with indie artists that are kind of just motivated by their own drive because they haven't quite, or at least a lot of them, made it their full-time job yet. So they have to, it's just the pure love of it and the passion of it that is driving them to be so productive every week. You know what I mean? Like that, to me, like when I speak to people at cons and stuff, they're like, I want to be an artist. I love drawing and stuff, but I don't have the time. I'm like, oh, like how often? I'm like,
make it.
They don't just playing video games, you know, or no, it's usually video games or watching. And it's just, it's wonderful to hear people like yourself, like these other guys, talking about, like, making the time, putting aside, like, making it a priority. You know what I mean? And hearing them being like, this is what I achieved, this, and I'll have to do that myself, you know, like write down little notes of like goals for this week, you know, and like, so I can tick them off and I get that little sense of accomplishment. Not hard because I really enjoy it and I do spend most of my time doing it anyway, but it is still, it can become a bit, when you're just by yourself and you're doing it, and it especially with the bigger projects, it can be it seems so unachievable, the end result. You know what I mean? And you're like, shit, will this ever be finished? Will this see the light of day, or will this just be something I've spent untold hours on? You know what I mean? And
it's also the fact that, like, because you're by yourself so much and you're not getting that like critique where people jumping in and, you know, peeking over your shoulder and being like, oh, this might work, blah, 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 getting the good feedback in general, you get stuck in that mindset of being like,
That's
this is
that's a
crap.
that
I'm not going to do it
that's a hu
anymore. You know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The, I guess because no like, until you've made it and it is your full-time job where you're getting a constant, feedback loop, like, which for better or for worse, a lot of the time I'll spend so much time looking at it, like looking back at it and being like, is this way too niche? And am I stupid for thinking that this matters in the slightest? You know what I mean? Like, is this a story or
Mm.
is any of it worth telling beyond like for myself? And you do have to kind of just shut that out and be like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I get
Yeah.
to do this. It's a wonderful thing that it, I am privileged enough to have the time and the opportunity to do this. So I have to shut everything else out. Be like most other people, like even like yourself, who's a mum now, like looking after, I don't have that responsibility. You know what I mean? Like I have
I'm
more
going
free time. Like,
insane. That's what's
yeah,
happening.
yeah, yeah. Oh, no, but like it's, I do work full time, and I teach a kids art class on the weekend,
Mm.
and still got it like, and my work is not art, you know what I mean? But like, still obviously make the time, but like compared to what other people have to, do, like, yeah, I am in a very fortunate spot. But so I guess I'm just saying you got to shut it out.
No,
You
no,
know what I
no.
mean? Like,
You're me like 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I was
yeah,
doing a full-time job. I was also teaching at an art school, and
yeah,
which is funny because we're in the same bloody city. Um, and like even that, it's a huge struggle. So you're doing like it's everyone's got their own form of I don't know, perseverance to get through this industry. And not a lot of people have the right gumption to do it. And that's what you've got is the gumption to be able to do it and to keep utilizing that gumption and just focusing on the goal and not so much the struggle is the struggle that actually helps you
yeah,
improve and heighten your skills and love for the industry. It's not for everyone, but it's obviously for you. And
yeah.
like kudos to that. What got you in? What got you into drawing, or was it always comics, or was it just drawing or illustrating?
It was always drawing and illustrating in the beginning. Like, and for the most part, like, especially more so when I was younger, it was more like original characters and wanting to
Hmm.
like just constantly live in my own characters and worlds and stuff like that, or just being constantly infatuated with, the stories of the books
Cool.
that I was reading. But only in the last maybe 5 or 10 years have I been like, or no, actually longer than that, but like not sticking. When I was younger, I wasn't sticking to writing the stories as much, like, and actually
Hmm.
being like, all right, finish this. You have ideas. I think everyone probably, like artists or writers, like, because just so just focusing equally almost as equally on the writing aspect as well, because I think I want to tell my own stories and create my own characters more so than that's why I was a bit put off doing the cons last year, just because I didn't have it in me so much to do so much fan art. I kind of lost a lot of drive for that. Like, I still
Hmm.
really enjoy it sometimes, but for the amount, like, it's it's what sells. It's what makes a lot of money when you're selling prints. Until you're an established artist, like
Yeah.
a household name, and so to justify the cost of actually going interstate and doing the cons, you would have to spend so much time and energy doing art. Yeah, so much for a fan base, and part of that is a joy, but another part
Mm.
is, I wanna do my own characters, you know what I mean? I wanna create my own
Yeah.
world, and
Yeah.
to see the small number of people that vibe with that, and are interested in original characters and original work is so awesome. It's so fulfilling when people genuinely turn to a page and be like, "Who's this?" it's an original,
Mm,
you know, tell me more. That's such a cool feeling, you know what I mean? And so I'm trying
yeah.
to work from that, you know. I think Mike Mignola is like the the North Star, you know, like, and there's obviously
Well,
a
he didn't
bunch
really
of
give a crap. He just kinda was like, "I'm just gonna do my own fucking thing," right? And
yeah,
that's the kind of sentiment that I follow now. It's
yeah,
just like, I don't care
yes,
about Batman or whatever. Like, it'd be sick. Like, I've always said this, like, it'd be freaking sick if I ever got that gig,
yep,
but it's not the be all and end all now, right? If people don't follow you or don't know about your work and kind of what you focus on, I'm not going to say hyperrealism because that's not right. And I know your inspirations. I can off the bat, I can already see inspirations. I'll pull out obviously what I've got behind me that fits within that. Um, but you love that anthropomorphic sort of. Do I say that right? Whatever. People know what I'm
mm,
talking about. Um,
mm,
and like the details and the intricacies and everything like that. If you haven't followed Levi's work, follow him. Incredible stuff. And this obviously leads into the Kickstarter that you're going to be. You've got the pre-launch page out now, but you've obviously created your own comic. But that sort of focus on that sort of genre, where did that come from? And before we get into that, we'll get started drawing. And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm not going to like spoil. I'm not going to spoil this for anyone just yet. But we're going to start drawing one of your characters, and I would like to get into him later. But just to start the visual goodness that a lot of people like on this channel, um,
yep.
we'll start drawing whatever. So where did that sort of love for that style come from?
I think, like, for whatever reason, I have always really, as you can see, I've already gotten started. I cheated because I was intimidated about talking and trying to hold a conversation and drawing at the same time. So I did get a very rough sketch in the beginning to help me get started. But um, I love animals.
Mm-hmm.
I really love like all the nature documentaries. For a long time, like even though I kept drawing, I was upset. Like I thought I would be like a wildlife photographer,
Mm.
and then for I thought I might be a soldier for a while, but then my friends will talk me out of it, and they're like, "You will get yourself killed just head and a few other reasons." But like I was like, "Yeah, probably," and unless doesn't matter. So I always felt a bit torn in different directions, but art was the one thing that I stuck with.
Yeah.
Um, and I yeah, I for whatever reason, like, I love, drawing animals, but I also love the superheroes and stuff, like, I loved, you know, like, Batman, um, was probably my favorite, you know, and drawing the physiques and stuff, and like, all the more gothic, like, fantasy art and things like that,
Mm.
love doing that. So I've started doing like the fantasy animals as well. So I like to kind of mix that in a little bit, but for whatever reason, I don't know, like you can just create such fun characters with like I get really kind of obsessed with like the nitty gritty details of animals and their like different almost personality traits and what they kind of bring to the table and they're like how they would and like I always thought like with these comics or with these characters like how fun that would be to create characters that also lean on the actual animals traits and
Yeah.
like you know what I mean, like every animal, like for example like the crocodile that we're doing, you know, like they're big and they're powerful but they're also extremely patient, you know, like they're intelligent in their own way. Like they're they're cunning in a way, you know,
Mm.
like they will ambush, you know, things like that. Like just or like the dog, the main character for the comic, like he's not by far not the toughest character, but like he's got that tenacity
Yeah.
like a dog would, you know, like he's not like I imagine because I wrote this other book that was just characters, and I always like put cats and bears as like the apex. You know, they would be like the elite of the elite soldiers or warriors. You know, but like for whatever reason, I chose to do like the dog because he wasn't the top predator. Like he wasn't
Yeah.
the strongest, fastest, the most powerful, but he had this tenacity about him, like, you know, like certain breeds of dogs that would just like
Still got some of that old
would
ancestry in
push
them.
him through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like didn't have the same amount of like the strength or explosiveness or even like the predatory instincts weren't as great as like some of the other animals, but just tough minded, you know?
Yeah.
Just little things like that, like, again, like you put them to all characters and all animals, and you start to build this, and it's just visually, it is, to me, really fun to look at, you know what I mean? Like, when you've got this world, but they're animals, you know, but, like, I yeah, it's just fun, you know, like,
It's drawing on the
to imagine.
like you said, it's drawing on the personalities of the breed or the species or something like that, because they all kind of have that little something something about them, right? And yeah,
Yeah,
super smart, super smart.
and because somebody was asking me about this, like, what, like, I was, like, trying to tell them, um, like, pitch the idea, I guess. He was a comics, he was someone in the industry, and, he wasn't against it or anything, but he asked me, like, why the animals? They were just, like, why not? You know, like, it just, there's so many, like, if I just put like, to be quite honest, the story, like, if I gave an elevator pitch on the comic Death Roll that I'm working on to a to someone that had no idea what I was talking about, I guess it would just sound in a big way like a bloody, you know, Keanu Reeves, Jason Statham,
Mm,
um, revenge action thriller, you know, like
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cut and dry. But then you add the animals, you add those little nuances and details, and the world kind of shifts a whole lot. And then you add like how do these predators and prey live and like in a world together in harmony, you know, or like as much harmony as humans do, kind of thing,
Mm,
you know, like
mm,
where that actually some would fall under the different categories, and like others, like they would naturally be enemies, or like how do you get around that, and like how would they interact with each other? And then to be honest, like for the most part, it's just people in animal costumes, but there are certain little aspects about each animal. It's like other animals would be great as soldiers or police or mob bosses or artists or
yeah,
you know, like working in the criminal underworld and things like that. And it just, it again, it's like painting with different colors or like a different style. Like you just, it just makes the world. I mean, comics are a visual thing, you know. Like it just looks to me fun, and I guess
yeah.
that's like what we were talking about before. It was just like, oh fuck it, I want to
Well,
see this story. You want to see it, so
you see this success of like Zootopia and stuff like that, and
mm,
people love it because it is people see themselves within the species, breed, whatever.
mhm.
So it makes sense. And I'm like, it's like you're going back to the other guy that was, you know, saying like, why this, why that. But it also goes back to what you relate to. You watch your documentaries, you watch like that. Not everyone's going to like what you like. And yes, yours is a niche, but you look at the success of some of the other brands like Zootopia or something like that. And then also, this is the reference that I was like going into, like Black Sad, right?
Oh yeah,
Huge, huge,
yeah,
like absolutely huge.
yeah,
And he's pulling on very,
yeah,
very similar sort of like ideas and pulling from the same sort of traits of animals, etc. And
totally.
you know, like it, the success of it and the relatability of it. I don't know. It's just a lot of people don't give it enough credit for this sort of style of storytelling.
Mm, yeah. it's just like, I mean, that artist, for Black Sabbath, few interviews with him, he's wonderful. Like,
It's very, very cool.
well, you know what's interesting? He actually, and I didn't know this until obviously I picked up the first comic, was like when they were giving his accolades or whatever,
Mm,
he was the lead artist or designer, or he worked on the leopard in the movie Tarzan,
yep,
and Sabor.
yep.
Sabor is my favorite Disney character, and, like, just for like, I couldn't get enough of that Dan Leopard in that movie. Like, I love that movie because it was just a it was, I
Us.
mean, he was
It's
living that up a
masterpiece,
little
that
bit.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, Sabor was, I was like, I was devastated when that cat died, but it was and this is what, like, you can see, like, even though it's a completely different thing, like, the way he drew the physicality in the cat and the muscles and the way he would move when he
Mm,
was when he was, like, stalking the prey and everything, like, he just
nailed it.
understood that so well, and I think I've heard you talk about animation as well with other guests
Mm,
that have really some detailed understanding of it. I didn't study it or anything, but, like, it's kinda like when we go back to, like, when you guys are talking about, filming yourself or taking photos of yourself in motion or
mm,
anything, but, like, something about his artwork, the way he captures whether it's people or the animals, and, like, even you can see the physiques underneath the clothing and the feminine grace, whatever it is, he just understands that. I'm trying my best, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's just one of those wonderful
Some people
things
get it.
seeing
Some people they just naturally get it and they see
quality.
things differently. It's like people, I don't know whether I've touched this on other episodes or whatever, but people see things and think about things differently. Whether they think about it
Mm,
visually, Lockie thinks about things mathematically, my husband. And then some people can't even see things in their head, which is like, I'm so sorry if that is what's something that you
mm,
have to deal with. But like, um, like some people just are gifted with this amazing like, it's not talent. There isn't. Okay, I'm a firm believer there is no such thing as talent. There is such a thing as ease and understanding easily, but there's no such thing
yeah,
as talent because talent is earned. Um, but yeah, it's just phenomenal what you can see some people do. Like a lot of the Disney
mm,
artists, like Aaron Blaise, like his new, have you seen the new polar bear um, animation that he's just released? And he animated the whole thing himself just by
what?
himself. Like he's like, old school 2D traditional animation. It's won so many
Yeah,
awards recently and it is stunning.
you'll
Um,
have to send me.
oh, it's only recently just come out. So I mean it's only
Yep.
just hitting everyone's feeds at the moment. But I mean following I love Aaron Blaise. Like I love him. Um he's like Glen Keane for me. Um and just the I don't know, the fluidity and the natural movement and stuff and just the amount of stuff they have to study to be able to understand that. So your comic that's coming out, Death Roll, which is in pre-launch at the moment,
Mhm.
definitely tell us when it's going to be going live in terms of when people can back it. But obviously you want people to sign up for the pre-launch because that is quite important as well. Tell me
Yes.
about it and the idea behind it. When did you start sort of creating this world? And, like, why is it important to you that you want to tell the story?
Ooh, there's a lot, to unpack. I don't know, like, just to touch on it just quickly, like, I guess from an outsider, like, point of view, like, I think I was talking about, like, the rough premise of the story is quite cliche in a lot of ways, and it's pretty standard, but, like, I guess I've just approached this story more than anything extremely earnestly. Like, it
Mm,
really, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it'll be whatever it is, to the readers, but I I don't know, like, I just, like, I started with the character, it was just, it started as a basic kind of, like one-off character, one of like 60 that I'd created, like all these animals, all these warriors and villains and criminals and all this kind of stuff. And there was something about him that just stuck out, and I wanted to keep telling his story, Forrest, the main character, the bulldog. And and then his story kept growing and growing. I was like, I need to actually tell this, you know what I mean? Like, and I got really, it sounds silly, but emotionally attached to his tale with his brothers. I wanted to really tell an earnest tale, about like love for his brothers, like it's,
Because
and
you're like what, a brother of three, four, three, two.
yeah. I got two brothers and a sister.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I like it, that his story just mattered to me. You know what I mean? Like, and
Mm.
it was a lot of like I wanted to have a lot of fun with it, like, and with the but ultimately, this I almost look at the like I would never compare myself to the Berserk comic, but this, I guess, in a way, like I've kind of looking at it like this first book is almost like the golden was it the golden age or the golden arc
Mm.
of Berserk. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but
Mm.
the manga, but it's like the earlier like how it sets him up in this because Death Roll will be broken up into 2 volumes.
Mhm.
So volume is coming out in the Kickstarter launches in May. It'll obviously
Mhm.
run for a month. And it's about 170 pages. It's finished. It's ready to go. And part 2, the conclusion of uh this story in particular is almost finished. I've only got one more chapter to illustrate, which is cool.
Wow.
But that will wrap up this this story arc, I guess, and then from then on, I would love like the if I had the opportunity to, I would love to continue telling tale, kind of like in the sense of like I read a lot of like crime and mystery books,
Yeah, cool.
like in thrillers where the character will like go to like a different town and come across like a different villain in each book, you know what I mean? And I just
Mm.
think that there's a plethora of characters, like villainous characters that could be created out of different animals, um, and go from there, like and be it cults or different
Mm.
like hells or mafia or whatever the case may be. Really and lean into each animal's like for someone to face him um like an evil version of like a Jack Reacher type character, like a giant bear or something that just completely outmatches, or for him to find a way out of this, or like some kind of yeah, like a more like lean into the scarier side of like cult or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
like I got some ideas for it, but that to me is what I would love to do, and have him travel across America, because the first 2 volumes, like, without giving too much away, like, it's, a lot of it is about failure, and what do
Yeah.
you do after you've failed? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who do you become after you've failed everything?
Yeah.
And what does that make you? Like, I mean, that to me is what will then, define heroes or villains, like, after you've lost everything, what do you become then,
Yeah.
And that I want to explore. That's what I want to explore more than anything. After this,
Yeah.
and again, it's like with the art and everything, like with the characters, telling it with animals, it just
You
I
feel
don't
like
know,
it gives
like
you a bit of freedom?
yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally. Like, and it can look in a way I will go back to that in a second, touch on the
Mhm,
freedom thing, but the it it's a very colorful comic, and
mhm,
in a way, it's kind of cartoony. Um, I guess, like, when you juxtaposition that with the horror or the violence, I
mm,
think that makes it quite interesting visually. Um, Again, kinda like Black Sad, who again is,
mhm,
like, one of my North Stars with that, because you have this incredibly beautiful art, but then there's these dark undertones and the seedy streets. It's a crime noir,
mm,
like, and it with all these seedy characters, but these beautifully drawn, you know, they're quite funny looking and or like you say, like cartoony or these beautiful backgrounds. Um, and so it's not all dark and grim and gothic stuff, which I love, but it's not this.
mm,
So it's a fun kind of went off on a tangent there, but so just quickly going back with the freeing thing, like it's also fun drawing like background characters or just different characters that show up and having them
yeah,
just like creating different characters and little animals and like what would be working behind the bar, who would be like just whatever, doing paperwork in the background kind of thing. But I will say
mm,
drawing really violent book with animals can actually be quite difficult sometimes because you don't want to draw dogs getting ripped apart in a way. Like they're obviously it can be
Going
sometimes
back to
quite a bit
John Wick, you got the moment where you're like,
yeah,
"Don't touch the dog, don't do it."
yeah. I don't know if I can how much I should pull back from this and how much I should lean in. It like sometimes I have to yeah, like I don't want to go I don't want to be gory for gory's sake ever
Yeah,
or over the top for shock value. But unless it really calls for it, like the story or what's happening, but at the same time, sometimes you got to really pick and you're like, fuck, you got to pick a really ugly animal that's going to get eviscerated here because people are going to have to, like it's hard
yeah.
watching, unless you're watching like the nature documentaries in which it's like, okay, a zebra gets ripped apart by a crocodile. It's all
You're
part
like,
of the
"Oh, man."
beautiful world.
Yeah,
It can be a bit much, when it's something else, when there's malice behind it, and it gets a bit ugly, you know what I mean? So I do have
yeah.
to kind of be a bit pick and choosy with that, but yeah, I think I've gone off on so many goddamn tangents there.
No,
Um,
that's the idea about this, is like it's navigating your thought process, because I don't think we ever really get the chance to be able to do that. And like you said, because this industry, you don't really get to hang out with a lot of people and explore those
mm,
topics. So that's kind of the beauty of this, and the idea of that you can just chill out and say whatever the frick you want. Um,
mm.
so you obviously have your pre-launch page up. What's the timeline in terms of getting it out and about to everybody?
Ooh.
Well, roughly, anyway. Because we all know that Kickstarters don't always goes to plan half the time.
Yeah, like I think so. I was talking to someone that is more experienced than me, and he has it kind of mapped out exactly. I have to double check the timeline, but after we have done a launch,
Mhm,
provided it's successful in May to June, and then there will be I think a spot for the latecomers, but uh, printer is the printer is picked out like and everything's ready to go.
mhm.
Um, but as far as getting it printed and shipped out, it'll also depend on who's getting private like commissions
What?
to go with it as well.
Yeah,
I think those ones might take a little bit longer. Um,
yeah.
then I would say a month or so to get everything printed, but then he'll be helping me with um, the
Fulfillment
shipping
sort
and
of
everything
side.
as well, just
Yeah, yeah.
because this is my first Kickstarter. I've actually hired him to help me, so that it all goes as smoothly as possible.
Smoothly.
You
Yeah,
know what I
I
mean?
think that's smart. Like pulling on someone who's got the expertise on it. Great idea.
I
And
just
if you've got the capacity to be able to fulfill that in terms of like plan and stuff,
just
and it makes you
yeah.
nervous doing like a Kickstarter because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of promotion. And if you're not like savvy on like the algorithms and stuff, because really,
Which I'm
to be
not
honest, who
at
who
all.
really like if someone is frothing over algorithms, you need you need some milk. Like go go to therapy, my friend. Anyway, um,
It's whole
oh, it's just yeah, I can't
as a
even. Every time I go
as a
down
as
the
a
rabbit hole, I just can't bother.
yeah, no, like, as a 35-year-old man and having to say
Mm.
things like algorithm and likes and shares and comments, and wouldn't fuck about any of it and be like, "How do I, you know, make this
Just
work
buy
for
my
me?" Like, it's just
goddamn
I feel,
book.
it's teenager, but it does genuinely matter, unfortunately, to like, I mean, nothing makes me happier than sharing the artwork. So in a big way, like I
Yeah,
love doing that, like and getting it out there and having people vibe with it. But when it is like getting hung up, like fucking posting something, especially original artwork, going back to that, like I will spend, you
no
know,
one gives a fuck about it half the
60 odd
time.
hours on a piece and it
Mm.
like think and to just you especially with the original art and stuff, you pour so much time and not just time and energy, but like genuine,
Love.
uh, let's just say love and care into a piece and something that you're trying to tell a story in one image or so, or whatever. It's not that fucking deep, but the point is you're trying. And for them to like, you'll
Yeah.
post it and then, like the next day you'll fucking check it for the first time and you're like,
Sick.
you
I
might
got
as well
4
have
likes. That's
thrown it
cool.
into the ether and then forgotten about it, and you just be like, probably ready to give this up.
But
Not
you gotta
really,
take
but
it with a grain of salt. Like people at like we're growing up in an age where everyone wants things now and now and they want things that are trending. They want to be accepted and liked. And like, that's human nature going back to talking about like, drawing on human personalities and whatever. But like, goddamn,
mhm,
people just take a minute, have a breathe and check something out, Like, I don't know. It's, I get it. I totally get it. But
yeah,
I mean, you obviously came from a part where you did sell a lot of prints and stuff at the like comic
yeah.
conventions to, I mean, and they make money. I used to do it myself. What sort of triggered
Yeah, right.
you you to be like, I want to let that go? Well, not let it go completely. Like we never really let it go completely, but it's not your focus anymore. Like, was it ever your focus, or were you always had making your own comic at like the end goal, and this was sort of like I don't know, a pathway to that?
No, it was always the goal. Like again, like I'm more like because I love stories. Like I'm always these days it's more audiobooks because I really don't put aside the time to read enough. Like even
Mm,
like I've some new comics for Christmas and I haven't made the time to sit down and read them because I just if I do that,
story of my
I feel
life.
guilty boring,
Yeah,
and I'm not making progress on things that matter. Like as in not things that matter, but um, I always feel like I'm behind. I always feel like I am playing catch up because I don't feel accomplished. So
mm,
if I'm not working on my art, I feel like I am doing myself a disservice and I'm not, ever going to achieve anything of worth. So I don't make a lot of time for that. So what I'm getting at is with the Audible, I can do both, like, and I can consume that, and I'm always living in those world, and I love stories. I want to be able to. I need to start a bloody book club, just so I can talk about it more with people. But so stories matter to me more than just about anything else, and so I want to tell my own stories, and so to answer your fucking question in a stupidly roundabout way, I do that. I enjoy drawing Batman and some other characters, but it doesn't do it for me the same way that drawing original characters and getting those stories across does, And then at the same time,
Mm,
I also look at people like, or comics like, Hellboy and Black Sad, or whatever the case may be, and these ones that like they take off like what Image Comics does with these original stories is that the artists and the writers, they own their characters. They create their own universe. They create something extremely special, and it's got to start somewhere. And
mhm,
I want to own my own characters and tell my own stories. And so, like, you're not going to do that if you're just drawing other people's characters all the time, Um, and you do have to
yeah,
like, or at least I find that you have to, and so a lot of it is to like, I really don't draw anything I don't want to unless it's a commission. But
yeah.
with the fan art,
And
like
you
you
gotta
do have
make
to
that
play.
money, honey. Like,
Yes,
sometimes you
right.
gotta pay
Like,
the bills.
yeah, and it's good practice for drawing characters that you might not have. But what I was going to say is you need to also build a following, and get more eyes on your
Mm,
work. And to in order to do that, it is in a big part drawing fan art, at least in the beginning, or at least it helps.
yeah.
Drawing the characters that people, because I absolutely understand why people are buying characters that they already have an emotional connection with. They love
Mhm,
those characters, they love the Turtles, they love Batman, they whatever, So I absolutely understand it. And you still draw it in your style and you make it, you put a piece of yourself into each character, but like, even if it's not
mm,
yours. And I love doing that, but no, I want it to be where you're at, where those other guys are at, and they're selling their own characters, their own work, and they're telling stories that
mm.
matter to them, in a big way. Like, what about you? Because I haven't, like, I hear little bits and pieces, um, from comics. Like, what? Can we just pivot for a second?
Talk
Where do
about
you
me?
get
What do
your
you mean?
please, 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 just a little bit of like a little bit of like what is driving you to tell your own story?
It comes down to the same thing, right? Like, I'm more inclined and I draw better and I've got more motivation when it's something that is, I'm not gonna say birthed. It's such an odd word, but it is birthed from my own imagination, right? We all grew up in I don't know, an age or whatever where we had like all these cool IPs coming out. Like anime was like a new thing, like Dragon Ball Z, like watching Dragon Ball Z on Cheese TV every morning, like, and it sort of helped
Right.
us escape from
Yeah.
a lot of the crud that was happening. So I think, I don't know, it stems from that. I can't say that I always started this journey to create my own comics. As a kid, I tried, and then that's a whole nother
It's
story
lagging
I'm
that.
not willing to get into, but, uh, yeah, it's fine. We'll change after. Um,
Okay.
and then I don't know. I just because I started doing animation. I'm going on like a tangent myself. Um,
Hey,
started doing animation and stuff, and then that didn't work out. So I went on to doing more like your static sort of stuff. And I fell in love with doing characters that I grew up with and stuff because it was nostalgic and I was feeling like I needed to fill some sort of like void that was in my life. And, that was all the characters that I loved, whatever, some sad story. And then I realized that I was getting bored of it and
Mhm.
I don't regret doing that. Like that's kind of where I started doing my conventions and I realized that's not where I want to be. And that void that I was trying to fill actually came from creating my own stuff. And I knew it was going to come quickly. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. And like yourself, like it's only now that I'm starting to create my own thing. I mean, I did Lana Luca and that wasn't wholeheartedly mine. But that didn't quite fill the cup that I needed. And that's where Thalison comes in. And I was just like sat down. I've never written in my life and I've never actually thought that I could write. And that is
You
daunting
are
for
writing
myself because
all
I know a lot of comic artists. Yeah, I'm trying to. I can't say it's going to be
so
doing bloody good, but
how how are you finding that? Like, are you learning on the go? Like, are you a big reader? What is like, do you listen to a lot of authors
I
talk?
was a big,
Uh,
yeah, I was a big reader. Not so much now. Um, but like I love thinking of broad ideas and characters. It's probably no surprise to anybody, but I've got ADHD, and I having me sit down and try and focus on something for too long is a little bit difficult for me, and especially struggled through school. So I was always told that I was, never did well in English. I couldn't write. Like all the stuff that I was writing, none of the teachers thought was any good because it was all like this fantastical sort of stuff that didn't make sense to them. And so like I
cool
kind
shit.
of was like, yeah, defeated after that. Yeah, I know, right? And it takes a little bit of healing to be able to move on from that. And so I don't know, I'm losing where I'm going, but you get like the gist of it. Like I'm
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm tired of trying to I'm tired of trying to please everyone else. I'm sort of at the point now that I just want to do what I want to do, and I'm no longer trying to chase the clout that a lot of comic artists do want, and I don't blame them for it because it is a cool job. But it's hard work, you know.
Mm. Mhm, mhm.
So yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
do you want to keep like working on this title for a while? Because obviously once you create an IP, and
Yeah.
we're lucky in Australia because copyrighted stuff is just copyrighted as soon as you make it. Like that's a rule of thumb. It's more trademarking stuff is what you got to watch out for. That's a whole nother story. I'm not even going to get into that. But is this sort of something that you want to stick to for a little while, or are you doing obviously another story arc? How are we going to go about that?
Yeah, so like I feel like with Forest, with the animals, with this world, that's kind of just getting started. Like again, without giving
Mhm.
anything away,
Away.
um, in the ending of volume 2, it is something that I 100% have been fantasizing about, like, continuing on. So, yes, I definitely will be doing that. I have thought about branching off
Mhm.
and doing something similar, but with, in a more of like a fantasy element. So again, like I really
Oh,
enjoy
yeah.
doing the animals, but something that is told in a similar way, but yeah, like a dark fantasy, like picture Poison, Elden Ring, fucking the
Oh,
first
Elden
Law
Ring.
book.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but I've seen the visuals. I know what it looks
Mm.
like. Got
Never
big
felt the
demons.
pain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I wouldn't have a fucking clue. I have to. If it's a video game, it has to be 6 hours, very linear, no deviation. Just get in, get
Yeah.
out. and that's it. You know, I can't go into a big world. But with I won't get sidetracked with the video games, but the talk, I mean. But for this, like I would love to have the main character like travel around like a Jack Reacher or something, like go to um different states in America, you know, and explore like what
Mm,
kind of different things would have to offer in different in different kind of thinking about what facing different threats and different types of threats, you know, like whether they be animal or outfits or like that. One of the big focuses with the character is, again, without trying to go into it too much, like he is one of his biggest driving forces, I guess, was he wanted to, like, he became a soldier and a killer in a way, well, in a literal way, um,
mm,
to kill evil men. And his a part of his journey, I guess, is trying to do what he does, but not to kill people so much, like to punish the people, like because he was a
mm,
victim. He wants to go out after the evil men, but like he's got to find purpose after being a soldier, and he's finding that like in saving people over, and that's not coming naturally, but that is the, I guess, the progression that he's kind of going through is that's his motivation, unbeknownst to him. It's not something he's figured out necessarily,
mm, mhm.
other than seek out death and punishment and killing people for the right reasons for the most part. It's his drive has to be saving people first, not reaping vengeance or taking lives. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
in a real, I got to figure out a roundabout, a elevator pitch way of saying that. But I would like to be able to explore that more as he eh, meets other characters. You know what I mean? And like
yeah,
finds more purpose in life, and that will take, I think, multiple books. Like that kind of thing doesn't have that kind of shift doesn't
yeah.
happen overnight, you know?
I feel like you probably write similar to me. I think of an overarching idea and characters and their kind of like basic development, but the intricacies that you kind of come across in terms of their character development and emotional development and relationships, that kind of comes naturally later for me. I don't know if is that the same for you in terms of you kind of wait for it to organically get there?
Yeah, like, once you kinda create a bit of a character, like you're writing it down, and then you're like, "Well, what would they how would
Mm,
they how would they react?" You know, like, it's gotta make sense because to me, for the stories that I love, you know, and this isn't a unique take by any stretch, but the characters are what sell me on a book more than
yeah,
anything. I have to absolutely fall in love with a character more than anything. I wanna believe that they're real. You know, I wanna get emotionally invested in characters' story, and like, I don't want to be reminded by the author either what they're telling me is I wanna believe it's real while I'm in it, you know what I mean? I
yeah.
wanna care about. That's why I don't like, um I'm gonna get some flack for this. This is
Go
not
dive.
I don't no, I don't like, what's the word? The the word for making something for the fans essentially.
Oh yeah, feeding the
When it's
beast.
yeah, I want the story to be told that makes sense for the character. I want the
Yeah.
story matters to be told, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the writer to make me feel like he's writing it for me or she. I want to be like, oh yeah, this is what happens because they've written it. Like that's what would happen. This is
Yeah.
what the character would do. This is how I don't want it to feel like, oh, they're writing this because this is a really cool scene that he knows or she knows that I want to read about. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
get emotionally attached to the characters and I want to be like, yeah, cheer for them because, you want to feel like it's a real type thing.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
and so when it comes to the characters, like even for example, like this is silly and small, but part of me in the beginning, like I love big cats. Like they're my favorite animals,
Mm.
like they love jaguars and pumas and snow leopards and stuff. And part of me was thinking like, why didn't I make the central character a like a jaguar, a
Mm.
panther, and like because he would have been more physically capable, he would have been more threatening, he would have been or pick 100 different things. But it's like, well, that's not who he is. It just isn't. You know what I mean? Like that can't change it. Like that Forest is a dog. Like
Yeah.
for good or bad. Like get I can't write that character
Doing that. Yeah.
as a different animal or something. You know what I mean? Like I can't
Yeah.
do that because it's just that I don't know. Maybe that's kind of what you're getting at a little bit was like these other characters. They're almost they will shift and develop. Like you'll get a better understanding as you're writing it and whatnot. But like, um, yeah, I don't know. Well, it's just it'll kind of come organically is what
Yeah.
I'm getting at.
100%. I think that's the beauty in it. I get so excited when I like think of something that's got to like fit what that I
What
like
is
a hole that I want to fit in, you know?
what is inspiring you for when you're actually writing the story? Like as far as like the type of stories that you want to tell and the characters and like
Going back to
the
games,
story that
like
yeah?
I lost myself in games a lot when I was younger. And
Mhm,
it was like how I used to bond with my brother and and I still follow like I've got like a Zelda tattoo, like those are like fantastical things. Like I don't know enough I don't know whether I find them more relatable or something like that. Like they've got a lot more struggles and stuff. I think that kind of like I think sometimes a lot of people get a bit upset or put down their own struggles because it's nothing glamorous, if that makes sense. So, like, if someone's
mhm,
dealing with, like myself, like postpartum depression and stuff like that, like, that's not glamorous. Like, you don't really want to tell people with that. Whereas if you like talk about a guy who's going through like Phallus and he's going up against all these gods and from like different deities and monsters and stuff like that, like those struggles are more interesting, but you can still put those little intricacies in there that relate to stuff that you struggle with in real life, if that makes sense. Like that's the kind of stuff that I really like. And it kind of takes away whether it's shame or guilt or I don't know, some people absolutely nothing wrong with it. They do struggle to express any kind of problems that they might have going on. And I feel like comics or storytelling, like animations, movies, whatever, give people that sort of avenue to be able to see that kind of expression of
mm.
whatever it is that they're kind of trying to deal with. And I think that's kind of why I want to write, because it's easy for me to tell a story for me that's not directly related, but it is also exciting. I don't know. I always downplay a lot of the stuff that happens in real life or even like the successes I have, always downplay a lot of it. So this gives me an avenue to kind of like blow it up a little bit. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. Like you'll say something to
Mm.
you'll be like, "I got this win, I got this victory," but it's nothing much and it's really
Eh.
shit and
Yeah.
don't really take it
Right.
you're
Yeah.
very proud of it. And then you see you're like, "Yeah, that is" you're like, "Ah, it's fucking nothing. Don't worry about it. Shut up. I suck."
Just another
I'm not
Monday. It looks like it's
like,
fine.
yeah, yeah. Or like you say, if you are struggling, if you are going through it, and then somebody will like they'll hear you out. You're like, but it's not actually anything, you know.
Mm,
You do that a lot.
no, it's just another form of self-expression, and it feels more natural, um, for me anyway, to be able to do that. And I feel like a lot of the comic creators that are doing self-publishing and stuff, that they're all realizing that this is just another form of self-expression, which is just, it's lovely to see. And I love hearing people's stories. And unlike you, like I hardly ever have time to even sit on my bum for 5 minutes these days. But uh, like, what is it? Just to put into perspective on, sometimes things get a little like bottlenecking for me. I got a last minute job that I needed to do for cover, and we had some trouble with emails. Like my emails weren't getting through for my concept approval. And then, obviously that delayed it. So the Friday deadline day came and went. So I spent Saturday, Sunday, and today trying to finalize a cover in 2.5 days, from concept all the way hand inking to digitally coloring, and then going straight into mumming, and then going straight into making dinner, and then going straight into making a podcast. So it's like it's like I love what I do and I love being a mum, but some days you're just like, please give me a shot of vodka and make it extra cold. Thank you. But yeah,
You're
sometimes
going through
it's, yeah, you get what I mean.
I can't, well, like, I would say, I'm not, I don't have a kid and I'm not dealing with it like you are. You know what I mean? So I won't
You
pretend.
got two
I look
Dachshunds. They're pretty,
sniffing,
they
so
got,
tempted
they
to
got
get,
attitude.
yeah. And 2 is harder than 1. So, uh, I would die for those boys.
Yeah.
That's one of the, obviously that's what, I mean, you know, what's funny is, just quickly cutting back to the comic, I want to go just for a second, and then I wanted to go back
Yeah,
on something
go.
else.
Yeah.
Before I lose train of fan art thing, I want to circle back to that in a sec. But the dash, the so originally, been with my partner for 18 years now, and
Gorgeous human being, FYI. Keep it up.
yes, it's my muse, my flame.
Yeah.
We, I always wanted a big dog. We always had big dogs. I wanted a pit bull. When we would move together. Uh,
Mm.
'Cause we used to have a Rottweiler, and then I wanted,
Oh, cute.
and she was in love with dachshunds, like, we became infatuated with them, and,
Mhm.
so we got 2 and no pit bull, obviously, but I guess is kind of why there's those 2 characters, the cops. They're one of them's a pit bull, one of them's a
Yeah.
dachshund. Um, one of them's older and wiser, like, one of them's a bit of a loose unit. But that, I guess, was where that kinda came from, that imaginary little, team up, you know? I get to live it out in the comic book, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I
Cute.
love those dash I couldn't go back to anything else. I adore them. But going back to the,
Adorable.
and just being able to put that little bit of character in each of the animals, like, I really do feel like some people, you know, they love their pets or they love animals, you know, and then they get to see either their pet or their favorite animal or whatever visually, like, as a character. I probably don't do
Mhm.
it justice. You know, it's fun, you know, you don't see it as much as you do other things, I guess. Anyway, with the fan art, I was gonna say, I just wanted to touch on it,
Mhm.
because, like, it has been one of these things that has actually been really rewarding, because I was saying before that a lot of, fan art kinda got a bit stale for me, like, you know, whatever, monotonous. I wasn't finding the same sort of joy out of it, because a lot of the time I would look
That's
at,
fair.
yeah, I would, but I would look at artists that I love, they're drawing those characters, and it it's inspiring, but it's also like I should stop and give up drawing because their art is so incredible. Like I can't hold a candle to that. It's so amazing. Like it's just, and some of the artists that I love more than any others, their art doesn't look anything like mine. Why aren't I even at least trying to look like make my art more like theirs? And I guess counter that with the fact that you're drawing the same character that's
Mm,
usually represented, by a million other artists. Take your pick, Ninja Turtles, Batman, whatever. Um, I don't know, it kinda loses its spark, but I have found something, and I was just gonna say if there are I'm not sure what the listener, like, audience is, like, if there are other artists, um, just pick that, like, comics, whatever, but for the other artists, I found that, like so I've been doing a lot more, fan art for this book series that
mm,
has kind of only just come out in the last, 6, 7 years or so, and it's relatively new, and that has been so rewarding because there really isn't much art out there of those characters in that book, like, besides the cover art of the books, and only just now, like, it's starting to take off a lot more, there really hasn't been
mm,
much artwork, any other visual representations out there, and so to get in there early and to not have any sort of real reference, I guess, of what the character is like besides what you visualize in your mind, obviously, is
mm.
actually really fun, like, it's really rewarding. Um,
Oh
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, same with, like, another like, doing a bit of, like, the fantasy series, and they haven't had, any movies, any adaptations, no comics or anything like that, so it's all just down to how what you see in your mind, and it's been so wonderful, like, obviously, the feedback from people has been generally, like, really, really inspiring, like, it's wonderful to hear that people vibe with it so well, but it's you get to, have that creativity a bit more, you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
and, it's led to some small, real business opportunities, like making some licensed art for the actual, book itself and stuff, like, that's been really wonderful. So
Mm,
I guess I was getting at in a roundabout way is if you
yeah.
can get a hold of if you can start doing artwork, I think that is, um, relatively new, isn't really much out there for it. It's kind of a good
It's
way
just another
of
form of
maybe
investment, right?
exactly, exactly.
Mm,
And sorry, this is a completely other, um, circling back to what you were saying before about what I wanted to this. I am going to be also working on a graphic novel with another, um, author. He is a writer. He helped me, um, edit the book, since he was a professional editor for 9 years before he was a
mm.
writer. He reached out and,
Exciting.
um, to help edit it. So, and then it was like an investment for him. He was like, "I would love to book together today." So, uh, yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
do that. I've committed to because I didn't want to obviously get, 3/4 away through this and be like, "All right, now to we gotta finish something," like, and especially to commit, like, already commit, 5 years or whatever on one story. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
stop till finished, but that is definitely something I'll be working well.
Yeah, that's it. Keep the momentum going.
Mhm.
I always firmly believe that sorry, I'm like half like smacking stuff here and making heaps of noise.
I love
Always firmly believe that if you follow exactly what your heart this sounds so cheesy. Oh my God. If you follow what your heart
Ones.
wants, a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff follows suit, right? You just put that momentum in and you keep following. And I find that to be true in the past like year and a half for me. Like I'm doing the podcast, I'm doing exactly what it is that I want to do, because I'm so limited for time right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have such a wave of stuff coming back to me in like huge amounts. And it's great to see, because I think people see a lot of the passion and stuff I do and the stuff that I'm more interested in, passionate about. There's more passion in the passion, right? I don't know. I'm just at the point now that I'm like I said, I'm limited with time. And so I'm just going to spend it doing exactly what it is that I want, and work with the people that I want and who understand the capacity that I have to work right now. And
Mm-hmm.
it's come back in tenfold, which is really nice. So
That's beautiful.
I feel like
Can I
that's
ask?
probably, you'll be in the momentum for that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask about the commission that you're doing, or you want to tell me afterwards?
How
The
I'm
cover?
doing, or what I'm
You said
doing.
you were doing. No, you didn't. You say
Um,
before that you were doing a cover piece commission?
oh yeah. So it's for a title that I've worked on before. I won't say
Awesome.
anything just yet. Only
Sure, sure.
because this episode will probably be coming out tomorrow, because I want to get on top of promoting your stuff. But yeah, the other stuff, another issue of Maurice. So I'll be doing another one of that, another 40 pages. And there is
Oh
some
yeah,
other stuff I'll tell you
mentioned
off
that.
screen. There's some very
Yep.
exciting stuff which actually I could pick your brain about, because I think you'll be able to teach me a thing or two in terms of that. I won't
See.
delve too much into that on
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
recording,
yeah.
but only because it's
All
only
right.
NDAs, man. Like, I love NDAs. I've got so
Of
much stuff
course.
that I've done recently and I can't even talk about it. It's ridiculous. Oh man.
The Maurice, that's
Mm.
the listen to your podcast with the writer, right?
Aaron, yeah, the
Yep.
heavy metal versus goths, pretty much.
Fuck yeah.
It's good.
Hell yeah. All right,
So
awesome.
just
Awesome. I wanna hear more
continuing that
about
story, which is cool. So yeah. Look,
it. So
you
you're
know what?
doing
We've
the
gotten to
full.
the hour mark. And so usually when we get to the hour mark, we kind of like wrap things up a little bit. You want to show your piece off? I want to see up close
No,
if you
wait.
want to hold it up a little bit higher. You're like, quick, I got it.
Yeah, I got a bit of it. Thank
I
God I
went
got a head
nuts.
start. But yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
sick.
we'll
Now, is
see.
this a practice piece, or are you going to be doing it for just for this?
This was just for this, maybe I'll put it in my originals folder. Um, I don't know. I can't really see much value to it until the comic comes out and if it takes off or not. But
Mm-mm.
it is
It's
what it.
got value already, my friend. It's got value already. So keep a hold
Yeah,
of it.
at least
Keep it safe.
people can see it's real. I got accused of being an AI artist the other day. I didn't really like that. So
Really?
yeah, they were just like, "This is all AI." I was like, "There's videos of
Ugh.
me drawing." Been doing this for like decades before
Well,
AI came about.
okay.
But all right, whatever. I don't
Yeah.
want to get off on a
So
tangent.
just
But
FYI,
yeah, I was
anybody
like,
who wants to accuse someone of AI, it's
yeah,
people like accuse people of doing AI and being lazy and stuff. Do you know what's lazy? Not putting a picture you think is AI into one of the search filters. Just do it. Just do it. You'll be able to tell. They'll tell you it's pretty good. I'll put the link in the thing. And then it's so
cool.
easy to just throw it in there. Do you know how many people in this industry, especially in the Australian industry, I'm not going to name names. I've already shamed them online. And yeah, it's not hard to tell if something is AI, and yours is definitely not AI. So yeah, take that what you
Let me
will.
have a look at yours. So just quickly,
Oh
I know
yeah,
you want to. I know you up. I know you want to wrap. That's to be honest. I'll buy it
there's a
off
lot of
you.
blood
Like
on there.
that's.
I went a
I
bit
mean, I've never
nuts.
had
I got
my
like
characters.
my
Yeah. So
get
what?
messy
Just quickly, why did you draw? So that's Hunter. That's the
yeah.
villain.
Why?
Why did you draw him?
Because he's slimy. Like I said,
Yeah,
I've said
nice.
this many times. If he's got teeth and it's slimy and he's got blood, it's my thing. I
All right.
like it. I just want to let loose a little bit and get a bit chaotic, let out the rage that I hold in every single day. It's basically it.
It's so much more visceral. I love that you
But I love it.
actually
I
groom
love
it
a good splatter.
beautifully. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mm. That,
It's
that's the
really,
one
really
scene that
good.
I saw, and you just like just FYI, Levi sent me the issue for me to look at, and there's one scene that, spoiler alert, haha. Um, but yeah, that's yeah, it's a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and like I said, it reminds me of GTA Miami, Miami Vice.
Miami,
That's the
what
one.
is it? Yeah,
Oh
Miami
no, Vice
Vice.
City. Sorry, GTA Vice City.
Yeah, yeah.
Vice City. Which I played thoroughly as a kid. Probably not the best influence, but obviously good in this aspect. And I think you'll have a lot of success, and I think this will skyrocket you in the direction that you need to go. And I know you've said to me before that you kind of feel a little bit of self-doubt in terms of, I don't know, feeling like you belong or if you're on the same level. And I wholeheartedly believe that you are part of where you need to be and where you are, and whether you believe it or not. So yeah, like I said, fake it till you
Thanks.
make it. You got to kind of
Yeah,
convince yourself half the time.
you really do. And
So
you have to block any, maybe that's why I'm always listening to audiobooks and stuff, because as soon as there's any downtime, any silence, those crushing thoughts come in, you're like, "Oh, fuck, you gotta
yeah,
distract myself with literally anything else." So
that's
I
it.
hear you.
And you know
But
what? And
thank
that's
you.
why I make this sort of thing, because people need to know that um, those kind of intrusive thoughts aren't always, something that you deal with by yourself. So
Mm.
get on the Discord channels, and I don't know. There's like Inkpop's got one, and I think there's
I
what's
started
the other one?
listening to
I'm on
them
a few.
through
There's
voices.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, I know I bump on them about a lot of stuff. Anyway, there's also the Perth. There's Illustrated Club that you can get on board as well. There's also a Discord channel for a lot of the Perth convention, or not Perth conventions, Australian conventions, and they talk about all the shows that happen around the country. And there's a lot of indie stuff that's going on. So, but this also means that you get to go to PCAF or what are the other ones? The other indie comic ones? Because once you self-publish, you can get into them because that's sort of like a criteria thing. And yeah, I think
Hell
you've
yeah.
got a lot of busy years ahead of you. So buckle up, buddy.
Good. That's what I want to hear.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for letting me draw Hunter and sharing your project that is going live soon. Tell us the date when it's going live, and I'll obviously pop the pre-launch Kickstarter link down below, but can you please tell people the details very quickly?
Launching in May the 1st. January, February, March, April, May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, May. So please, obviously, at least check it out. At least hit the follow on follow the project. It is you can, I guess, check out the link on my Instagram. I think it's Levi Cleeman Art, and then check out the Kickstarter. A lot of years, and I think just kind of that's why the book 2 is almost finished, is because I guess I just held off for so long trying to get it right. I don't want to be embarrassed with the first release, it's a silly story about animals, but it was told earnestly.
It's
So
your silly story that means something. So, it's got
yeah,
to be worth something to
yeah,
other people as well,
yeah.
There's always
But
worth
yeah,
somewhere. Yeah.
thanks heaps, Lauren.
Cool. Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. And definitely follow the Kickstarter. And anyway, I'm going to sign off, and I'm finally going to sit on the couch and rot for a little bit. I'm tired. And I'm sure that we'll catch up tomorrow after this recording's done, but stay on afterwards because that's obviously going to upload later. But thank you so much. And thank you everybody for following. I will catch you next time on Sketch Biz with our next guest. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, Lauren.